When I came to, my head and my shoulder hurt, and I was cold. I remember feeling relief when I realized I was still in the church and not tied up in the back of a van. Everybody else was gone without a trace, except for the bomb. I approached it carefully, but quickly realized it was disabled, or had never been fully assembled in the first place. I knelt down to examine the explosives, looking for clues pointing me to their origin. If Young had been there, she could have run a full analysis. Lucky for me, the explosives were clearly identifiable from their shape and labeling alone. These were Cineon sticks, used in chamber blasting. Nobody had access to those outside of the mining industry. I stepped back, satisfied for a moment. Then the rest of reality came crashing down on me. What would Zora's boss do when he heard that I was here? What were they planning on doing with more? And fuck, what about the guard? I hadn't seen much through the window in the attic, but it had looked like one of Zora's guys had fired at him. My heart started racing while I quietly went back down the stairs. You may be asking yourself how I remained functional throughout all of this. How I didn't just collapse under the pressure and the looming prospect of losing my daughter forever. I think the truth is that over the years, I had gotten really good at tuning out the voice that always tormented me, that had always told me horrible shit. This was just adding to it. More to repress, more bubbling beneath the surface. Maybe if it had gone on for long enough, I would have imploded sooner or later. After I woke up, I stared at the ceiling for a while. I resisted the urge to look for news about a dead guard. Somebody had certainly found him by now. It was my fault for letting Zora's people go to the church. His death was on me. Fuck. I needed to do something about that. But later. Today would be a deciding day. Zora's words rang in my head. 7 o'clock tonight. I had to do what they asked of me, but I wasn't sure where the data they wanted was stored. I was running out of time. I sat up and made a decision. The sheet on the Liberators. I needed to complete it now. I had a feeling that all the puzzle pieces were there. If I found out who was in charge of the Liberators, I might finally understand what the data was all about and where to look for it. Or maybe I could force them to pay Zora's boss so he'd let Laura go. Abbott Dyson. All the signs pointed towards him and his company. I didn't feel like I had the full picture just yet, but some aspects finally made sense to me. None of the people we had encountered seemed to support what the Liberators claimed to stand for. This wasn't a Garian terror group at all. It was Drovians, Savians, hired guns, and business people, all working for one man's false flag operation. What was he trying to accomplish? Stir up enough trouble to force the solar system into a war? I had talked to Dyson the morning after Banny's death. He was still in Gara, hiding in plain sight, and I still had his number. I considered my options. We needed to arrest him, but maybe we could have a chat first, just the two of us. Once the CDI had him, he wouldn't be able to talk freely. I took out my cell and tapped his face in my contacts. My heart was pounding. Would Dyson really come, or did I spook him? Did he suspect I was onto him? It would be a while until I found out, so I sat down and took a deep breath. At least I had a little time to think about what to say to him if he showed up. I was supposed to write a report on my findings in the Liberator's case, but I wasn't able to concentrate for even a second. First, I needed to wait for my colleagues to go home to be alone with Saito. He always worked late. But then what? What if he refused to help me? The idea of having to force him was devastating. He was my friend, after all. When I finally managed not to think about it anymore, a much more dire thought crept up on me. Laura might die tonight. And if she did, it would be my fault. And that's it. The most tumultuous days of my life, and possibly in Garian history. Abbott Dyson has been charged with interplanetary terrorism, first-degree murder, and more that would put a normal person away for multiple lifetimes. Unfortunately, he is one of the world's most influential billionaires, and as it stands now, he isn't going to prison for more than a few years. It is rumored that he's putting someone else in charge of his company for the time being, and will be allowed back at his post after serving his sentence. With their mastermind unmasked, at least it's safe to say that the Liberators won't ever make another appearance. Concerning the mysterious data, Dyson repeated his claims before the court the other day. People don't seem too inclined to believe him without proof, especially given what he's being convicted for. But who knows? Maybe he is telling the truth, even though it sounds like a wild conspiracy theory. If Garian forces really were behind the Sector 2 incident, I didn't know what to make of it. But so far, public opinion on both planets seems to be that Dyson made up a desperate lie. As for my career at the CDI, the director had a serious talk with me, but it looks like I can keep my job if I want to. I had to come clean about the church, in part because I felt bad, and in part because I wanted to get ahead of it. Laura is gone once again. She is somewhere out there. I know it. I will not rest until I find her, or until the people who captured her put a bullet through my head. I will not let them turn her the way they turned Zora. As for me, I somehow got out of all of it alive. The CDI picked me up and found a bullet in my spine that has left me paralyzed from the waist down, possibly for the rest of my life. I worry that I'll never see the city from our old roof ever again. Catherine and I are dating again, however crazy that sounds. Things are so different now. The world is so different that maybe something good can come of it again. And finally, Zora. There was a moment when I thought she might have changed. I saw hesitation in her eyes, or maybe it was all in my head. She and her people are still roaming free, probably right here in the city of Gara. I have a feeling that if we ever cross paths again, only one of us might walk away.
Late in the evening,